2022, and I hereby call this meeting to order. Could you please bow your heads and pray?
Heavenly Father, thank you for all of our daily blessings. Grant us tonight wisdom and patience as we make decisions to better our community. Thank you for the beauty of our community. Thank you for the amenities of our beautiful community. Help us tonight to remember our people are our greatest asset, and it is our duty to protect them. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Councilman Finley. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. City Clerk, Ms. Jeannie Klein.
Mayor DePrio.
Here.
Councilmember Finley.
Here.
Councilmember Lisi.
Here.
Councilmember Cumberland.
Here.
Councilmember Clark.
Here.
Councilmember Wong.
Here.
I am going to move to adjust the agenda. Under the presentation agenda, I'm going to add item D, proclamation for Constitution Week. And under the action agenda, item 17A, a motion to adopt the final plat of Diamond Head Lakes Phase 1, subject to number 1, submission of the letter from Ben Benvenuti, city engineer, regarding construction of subdivision in accordance with approved plans. Number 2, approval of final inspection of the improvements of the subdivision. Number 3, provide ample swale easement between lots 20 and 21. All conditions must be completed to the satisfaction of the city before any building permit shall be issued. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Marr. All in favor? Aye. The next regularly scheduled meeting of the City Council will be held September 6, 2022 at 6 p.m. in the City Council chambers located at 5000 Diamond Head Circle. City Hall will be closed on Monday, September 5th, 2022 in observance of Labor Day. Next, we're going to have a proclamation.
Mayor, I'd like to make an amendment to the agenda.
Okay.
I'd like to move 2022-277.
Okay,
Point-
we've got a motion on the floor to amend the agenda.
277.
Motion made by Councilman Cumberland.
2022-277, 2022-283, and 2022-285 from the consent agenda to the action agenda.
So 77,
Yes, ma'am.
278, 280.
77, 283, and 285.
Okay, just those three. So
Yes,
it's
ma'am.
item number 12, 15, and 17 are being pulled off and put onto the action agenda following 17A. Could I get a second to move as amended?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Finley. All in favor?
Aye.
We're going to hold off on our our presentation from CASA on the annual update, and we're going to move on to the proclamation for the Constitution Week. Constitution Week 2022. Whereas September 17th, 2022 marks the 250th anniversary of the drafting of the Constitution of the United States by the Constitutional Convention. And whereas it is fitting and proper to accord officially recognize this magnificent document in the anniversary of its creation. And whereas it is fitting and proper to officially recognize the patriotic celebrations which will commence this occasion. And whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of the proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America, designating September 17th through 23rd as Constitution Week. Now, therefore, I, Nancy DePrio, Mayor of the City of Diamond Head, do proclaim the week of September 17th through the 23rd to be Constitution Week. And in Diamond Head, we ask our citizens to reaffirm the ideas that the framers of the Constitution had in 1718. In witness whereof, I have here unto set my hand and cause the seal of the city of Diamond Head to be affixed the 16th day of August of the year of our Lord 2022, and of the independence of the United States the 250th, and the statehood of Mississippi and the 204th. Signed, Mayor DePrio. Would you like to come up and get a presentation? Would you like to say a few words about Constitution Week? I figured DARs are always ready. You may want to have to push the button to make sure the green light is on.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm a member of the National Society of the American Revolution, Mississippi Daughters of the American Revolution, and the Friendship Oak chapter. Feel terrible having my back to y'all. I am the vice regent of the Friendship Oak chapter, and this is a local chapter consisting of women from Hancock and Harrison counties. Our area is mainly Long Beach and west to the Mississippi-Louisiana state line. We are a service organization consisting of women who can trace their lineage to a person that aided with the formation of the United States of America. The NSDAR's motto is God, Home, Country. The objectives of NSDAR are patriotism, education, and historic preservation. Any woman over the age of 18, regardless of race, religion, or ethnic background, who can prove their lineal descent from a patriot of the American Revolution is encouraged to join. The Friendship Oak is requesting that this proclamation be issued for the 2022 Constitution Week. Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of this proclamation each year by the President of the United States. So I've been contacting cities all across the coast to do this, and yours is the first one that I've been able to do. So
Yay.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Would
Thank
you like
you.
to come up and get a photograph? Okay, come on. Yes. Tammy's usually our photographer.
You can't use your picture without written consent. Somebody could use it to take mine. Or you can send it to me. Okay. Or you can send it to me. It's got to be with my camera or.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay.
Can I just come up there?
Yes, ma'am.
This is exciting.
I'm going to put you between the
I
center
haven't done
line.
this since like high school days.
Okay.
You're very
Everybody want to step in? 1, 2, and 3. Stay there. 1, 2, and 3. And hold it for one more. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Pleasure
you.
meeting you.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
I'll be in touch.
And I own Diamond Head property. Our first home was in Diamond Head, so this is very special.
Good seeing you. Good to see you. Moving right along, city manager's report.
Yes, ma'am.
Excuse me, city manager. We do want to hear your report, but I see a guest walking in, and I'm
all
going to
right.
put her on the spot. Everybody's going to be staring at Cynthia as she walks to the front of the room. So our next presentation is our very own Cynthia with CASA of Hancock County. She's here to give us an update on what CASA has done throughout the year, which we know is a lot. You want me to pass them out? Okay, thank you, honey.
Sorry, I'm a little late. I just came from Bay St. Louis. First of all, I want to thank y'all for your support. When I started with CASA almost 9 years ago, it was the first year that the city of Diamond Head listened to and heard the requests that we had for funding. And that was a really incredible moment. I was thinking about that on the way over here, because I had only started a few weeks before, and I came during budget season and talked about what CASA was doing. And I remember because Blaine was on the council at that time, and he said, I feel strongly about this. I'm going to donate my salary. And I didn't know what your salary was, and I thought, wow. wow, that young boy. I mean, he's only like 10 years old. Like, I was just blown away. I was like, I didn't realize I had that impression in terms of just what I spoke about. So afterwards, he came over. He said, I only make like $1,200 a year. and it was just such a funny memory because I was like, no, you don't understand. To me, it was way more than the money. It was that somebody heard what I was saying and felt compelled to want to give. And that's really kind of how all of the people we talk to around the county is so giving. For us as court-appointed special advocates, we advocate, we train volunteers to do this work. It can't happen without my volunteers. And about 5 years ago, we really specifically targeted Diamond Head as a community that we wanted to have a volunteer base grow from. We wanted to have bigger presence here because unfortunately we were seeing more kids that were being abused or neglected in Diamond Head. And we wanted the community to step up for them. And what I'm passing around, I think, is our community impact report. We specifically mailed that report out. We received some grant funding from Coast Electric's Operation Roundup, and we mailed that report out at a great rate to, I think it was 4,500 homes in Hancock County, but I largely selected homes in Diamond Head because I wanted to continue to prioritize this community because it's been such a good pocket of people for us to reach out to. As advocates, all of the children that we serve have been appointed to us by Judge Favre in youth court. So the only way we can become involved is if the child is in youth court and involved. Up until the pandemic, the only cases we were on were those where children had to be removed and were in foster care, like Mr. Clark knows because his wife is one of my longest serving volunteers. And during the pandemic, Judge asked, is there any way that you could expand this service to children that are still in the home but have substantiated cases? And at that point I said, I'll see. So we got permission from National CASA to pilot a project to be able to provide advocates for kids who have been abused or neglected, but the case is not as serious as warning removal. So now we are serving as many kids in that population as we are kids in foster care. And the only way we can do that is because of the community continuing to step up. We're training a new group of class of volunteers this weekend, over 30 hours. So we'll have a nice boot camp training all weekend. But really, the essence of what my volunteers do is they go to the homes and they see these kids. They see what's going on with them. They see what's not going on with them. And then they report back to the court. And then it helps the judge to make the best decision possible. In 2021, 97% of my volunteers' recommendations became court-ordered. So that means that the volunteers are not just checking in and it's not just a feel-good thing. They're coming to the court with tangible, unmet items that need to be addressed. And judge, for one, values their facts, values their opinions on what needs to happen, and then translates that into court orders. So it's a very effective community service opportunity. It's not for everybody. Most of our volunteers still work for full-time. A lot of them have kids or grandkids that they're very actively involved with. Most of my volunteers volunteer in other capacities. But it is a unique way to give back, and it is certainly an opportunity for someone to give back in a way in which you shape that child's life, but you also are shaping generations to come. The essence is that if a child can achieve permanency through either reunifying with their family safely or unfortunately, but fortunately being adopted, the likelihood that they will re-enter foster care or that they will grow up and age out of foster care is lessened. And for that, they have a much better ability, and the success rate for them to be a productive adult citizen who doesn't re-abuse or abuse their children and perpetuate the cycle is much greater. I did want to point out in the report, you'll see how many of those kids in 2021 came from Diamond Head. And I use that data not to startle people, but people just don't like to think that abuse and neglect are happening in their community. And this is a very safe community, but being originally from New Orleans, I grew up in a very safe neighborhood. And the reason why I moved to South Mississippi, because my front door got kicked in. So safety can change in a blink of an eye. And I really do think that making sure that these kids have advocates and making sure that their cases expeditiously go through the court system is the greatest avenue to affect the quality of life of the city. And we're just so grateful to have the City of Diamond Head support. You all contribute to us through an allocation process, but you also, not only through money, but through time and energy, come to our events, help us publicize our event. Last year, the Red Bean Cook-Off was a huge success. You know, we made $13,000 and we had about $200 of expenses. So I'm certainly able to stretch a dollar, and the city was an incredible partner for us for that. So on October 22nd, we'll have the second annual Red Bean Cook-Off, and we hope that the citizens come, and we hope that you all are involved with that. And I don't have our only courthouse dog in Mississippi with me. I'm not lucky enough to be the handler, and she's at home with her handler and a sick COVID kid. But know that the work that Remy is doing with our kids is pretty incredible. Last year, Remy celebrated her 2-year anniversary with us as Mississippi's only courthouse facility dog. And in addition to having an anniversary week, she helped another child get a successful indictment through the grand jury process. So being able to be a strong voice for a child through advocacy, and then being able to utilize this very specialized service animal to support these kids so that they can testify more effectively, brings about convictions and stops another generation of kids from being hurt. Do y'all have any questions of me? Yes, sir.
How many kids do you have in the system right now in Hancock County? And also, how many volunteers are y'all needing?
Yeah, great question, Chuck. We currently have 62 children in foster care in Hancock County, which is an incredible statement. At the height of the foster care crisis 8 years ago, we had 470 kids in foster care in Hancock County. We currently have 58 advocates serving the children in foster care and an additional 53 children. So we're serving as many kids in home cases as we are in foster care. And that's just the ability for us to continue to grow and the community's answer of that call. We need 10 more advocates. So this week's class, I think we have 7 people already signed up, gone through the background check process, but we will train again in a couple of months. So if somebody's thinking about this, while it's not for everyone, for the people who really do believe it's on their heart to do, I think you get as much from it as the children that you serve. That's right. I'll take 3 or 4 more, Chuck. That's right. That's right. Any other questions?
I just want to say you do fabulous work, excellent work. And I remember the first time, because I think I was sitting up here when you came, and you had numbers that were so high. Mm-hmm. You know, it was too much for us to wrap our heads around. It was just extraordinary. And what you've done to get it down to 62, I'm happy to share my salary with you, and I have been doing that.
Absolutely.
And I will continue as long as I'm sitting here, because I believe in what you do.
Thank
you do
you,
an
Mayor.
excellent job, and thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, I'm blessed to do this work, having worked for CASA program in New Orleans and now here for 22 years. The most asked question I get is, how do you continue to deal with these horrible cases every day and remain sane? And I like to say that what tempers me from seeing the worst child abuse you can't even imagine is the volunteers who are some of the best humans you'll ever encounter. Seeing what they do for these kids is really what CASA is. I'm just lucky enough to talk about it and see a dog every now and again, and work alongside Judge Favre and really partner with agencies like CPS. They've come a long way too. So it doesn't just happen with one of our entities, but without a doubt, Diamond Head has been the most supportive city of this program. And I just want to thank y'all for your investment in the kids of your city.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And do you have an extra book? Oh, okay. 'Cause I handed out the ones up here. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now moving to the city manager's report.
Yes. First, I want to apologize for all the noise we're making over here. Had a little technical difficulties getting this presentation ready. We have the dredging, the drainage pond dredging on the agenda that I'm asking you guys to table. We're still working with the contractor to get the documents signed that are needed for that project. The bids are good for 60 days, so we have until September the 18th or 19th, I believe, for those bids. So we can wait till the next agenda and put that one on.
So
if
you
guys
didn't,
don't mind.
you didn't get the resolution on the item, you were waiting?
Correct.
Okay.
We're still waiting on
Okay,
that one.
got it.
so.
All right.
Okay. Sorry. All right. The next is the East Aloha Drive project. With weather permitting, the final paving will be completed this week. They're looking at Thursday and Friday to get out there and get that work done. It's just, we're waiting on the subcontractor in this situation to fit that into their schedule. So they're working on that. As well as the current fire hydrants and other utilities that are on the road now that look like they're in front of parking spaces. That is all part of phase 2 and will be addressed in that point at that time. So it looks odd, but we'll get there and get those straightened out and taken care of. If needed, we will stripe off those spaces, and that won't actually be parking spaces in front of fire hydrants. But I also have for each one of you, and I'll give that to you in a minute, a calendar to kind of help you visualize the days for this project, so we can discuss that when we get to that point. Paddle Paradise is our next big event coming up September 24th. It's Saturday. It's a free event for everyone to come out and enjoy our kayak launch and meet other people who are interested and who enjoy paddling in our bayous. The Gila Way Drainage Project, we have those bids. We have until the end of the week to get those bids approved. If not, we'll have to reject all those bids and go back out for new ones. And so that's going to slow that whole project down probably anywhere to 2 months, 2.5 months to get that project done. So we would love to, if you guys approve that tonight, get that taken care of. The work assignment for Machado Patano that's on the agenda is not it is an additional $10,000 for plan review, but this is only for the rest of this year. We simply just kind of, that $10,000 ran out. We had some extra plans that they, which is a good thing, that they were reviewing for the city, and we're just running out of that money. So they're just doing an additional $10,000, but that ends in September at the end of the fiscal year, and then we'll have to go back and do a new work order or work assignment with them to do for the next year. So don't think we're spending $20,000 with them. If we
Right.
only spend another $1,000, that's all we spend for the rest of the year, and then the rest just gets voided out. So don't think we're spending $20,000 with them this year. Covington is working on the traffic study to determine the need for traffic signs at the corner of Kapalama Drive and Kaloa Street and Kapalama Drive and Golf Club Drive. These were asked by our police captain as needed, potentially needed stop signs for traffic control he felt like that's becoming a dangerous intersections. And just wanted to determine whether there needs to be stop signs there or something else. So we're going to get the traffic study data, take a look at all that, and make that determination. And then lastly, I have had a request for a parking lot rental agreement to be made with the Methodist Church for when we use that parking lot by the city for any city events. And I would like to, if the council all agrees, to have the city attorney draft up an agreement. What that would simply do is make us liable for any damages that are caused, and we would have to make those repairs. And of course, it would be on private property. So, but that's up to you guys and for you to approve. Okay.
Any questions to my left?
The
Any-
rental so the rental for the parking lot is just kind of like an insurance thing, or?
Well, the request was made that if we damage their parking lot, that we repair it. Best of my knowledge, I think we use it once a year for cruising the coast. Other than that, we as a city do not use it. The craft fair and others may use it when they rent our facility here, but I can't, speak to that. So as best I know, we use it for cruising the coast. Other than that, we really have never used it.
So it's just a signing contract, saying if something happens, I mean,
It's an interlocal agreement, I'm
Yeah, we'd have an
assuming.
interlocal agreement, and if there,
Well, I guess we need
would have to
legal.
address whether there's any damages, and then we would have to pay for those damages. Or we can do a rental fee of, here's $500 every time we use it, and then if there's damages, they have to use that money to pay for it.
Right. Yeah, not quite an interlocal because they're not a governmental entity, but just a rental agreement to specify what the rights of the city are with respect to when we can use it, and compensation to them for allowing us to use it, and if there is any damage to it, how that's kind of worked out. So,
They have been very gracious through the years. I've seen us use it many times through the years. I know we used it National Night Out, several other events. I'd like to look at, see what we could draft up, you know, and then review it and start from that point. That's what I'd like to see on it. Okay? Any questions to my right?
Just had a question. So is there anything new with the Ramada Inn? It's still closed, right?
It is still closed, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Nothing new to report on
Nothing
that
new.
one at this
Okay.
time.
Just checking. Thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions to my right? And I had one. Did we issue the field order for Makiki?
We have not, there's a second issue on that one, so we're waiting on possibly having a second issue on that, or second order on that.
So
one.
we hadn't approved
No,
it yet?
nothing yet.
Okay, good deal. And that one's moving along pretty good. All right, so moving along, we're going to, and I know we have a few folks that signed up for the public agenda comments, and a lot of those are correlated with the first tabled items on the agenda. So we're going to move to the budget presentation first, then we're going to go on to the public comments. So with that, City Manager, you ready to do, and do we need to kill the lights?
All right. That's too many of them now. All right, welcome to the 2023 fiscal year budget for the city of Diamond Head. If I can figure out how to make this thing go forward. There we go. Well, still technical difficulties, I guess. All right, our elected officials are our mayor, Nancy DePrio, Councilman at Large Gerard Marr, Ward 1, Shane Finley, Ward 2, Anna Lease, Ward 3, John Cumberland, and Ward 4, Chuck Clark. What is a budget? A budget is simply, it's an annual budget. It's a plan of what your projected expenditures and revenue. But what I always like to say, it's what your plan for the city is for the year, expressed in dollars and cents. That's all it is. What are you planning on doing? And then this is how you're going to do it using the funds you have available. Areas of focus for Diamond Head, of course, are going to be public safety, beautification, amenities, active community, commercial development, which is, I hope, going to be a huge one for the next year, and then efficiencies of providing these services. Our proposed 2023 budget expenditures is $20,281,000 and some change. And this is how it breaks down compared to last year's budget. Our general fund revenues are going to be just a little under, or just a little over $5 million, $5.1 million, with grants coming in at $6.3 million, which is a lot of grants that we have going on, which is a wonderful thing as far as the city goes. We have the Mississippi Infrastructure Modification Fund of $400,000, solid waste revenue of about $620,000. The American Rescue Recovery Act, we're anticipating another $2 million coming from that, with some $500 coming off of interest on that as well. And then the proceeds of a bond sale, which we hope we can get finalized. We're working with SMPDD to get that process taken care of. And it's a little over $5 million with some interest added on to that as well. We have expenditures from our general fund. This is just general fund of $5.3 million. Our grants of about $6,700,000. I don't truly expect that to happen, but you kind of say, hey, I've got a grant, I'm going to spend the money of that grant. Whether that happens in building construction projects, probably not, but we're going to budget for it and then we'll adjust as we need to at the end. The Infrastructure Modification Fund, of course, $400,000 coming out, and that is actually going to be used to be paying our bond issue back. Solid waste, we're anticipating about $723,000 of expenditures coming out of that. Rescue and Recovery Act, same thing. It's more of a grant, so we're saying $2 million came in, $2 million is going to go out. Again, not necessarily going to happen, but we'll budget for it and then make the adjustments as needed. And the same for the bond proceeds. Our cash balance showing, for the start of the fiscal year, we started with about $1.2 million. We have a contingency fund balance of a little over $2 million. Transfers in and out of our general fund, just to clear things up, shows us with a deficit of $250,000 of our general fund. Cash balance then would be our ending cash balance would be about $1.2 million, and our contingency fund staying at that $2 million. The 3-month operating expenditures is $1.3 million, so as you can see, we're actually going to be a little short overall on our cash balance to be able to cover our three-month contingency. Our revenues, the city is going to ask for 29.5 mills again. We are not changing that rate from last year. Our assessed value went up $1 million plus, with our millage going up to $100,250 from $99,000 last year. So our projection is to increase by $960,000, which should be about $49,000 increase over last year. Here's our revenues, just showing it to you in a pie chart. Same thing, $19.5 million in projected revenues for FY23. Our general fund, our grants, and the rest of them all listed out there. As you can tell, the largest majority of this, the 33%, coming from grants. But to me, it's a pretty balanced pie chart, which means we're not putting all our eggs in one basket. Everything's kind of a little bit from everywhere. Our expenditures broken down by each department in general fund, and then the rest of the funds coming up to $20,200,000. Our general fund expenditures are $5.3 million, broken down by legislative, judicial, and administrative, and so forth. You can see each one of them kind of takes up, again, more or less equal for the 3 major funds of this. So it just kind of keeps you balanced. Our total grant revenue is $6.3 million. You can see where these are coming from. We have, and like I said, several grants. Montjoy Creek, Tidelands, Commercial District, just so forth and so on. Each one of these, we're working on different engineering projects to make these advancements and changes to the city as we can. The expenditures, as I said, not all these expenditures are truly going to happen, and if they don't, then the revenue doesn't come in, as they're mostly reimbursable. But we're planning on trying to get a lot of these projects taken care of and started. A lot of that's based on permitting, I think, seems to be the biggest slowdown on that, but we'll get there. Our solid waste fund revenue expenditures for FY23, we started out with $620,000. We have an annual collection per household of $186. Our collection currently is our fees currently are $11.88 plus $2.75 for bulk waste pickup, giving us a total of $14.63. Multiply that times 12 is $175 per household that we're being charged. If there is a 3% CPI increase next year in the contract, which it's allowable, whether they will do it or not will be up to them, that number will go to $180. So we will be just a little shy, and when you consider our fee for collection added onto that, we'll be right at what we're charging and what we're collecting to be about the same. So our $75,000 ending surplus balance is going to be short, or kind of close, for the end of this year, and definitely FY24 when we're looking ahead. We'll be very close to running out of money on that fund, so we'll have to make those considerations for next year. Our total general fund revenue is $5.1 million. And where they come from, of course, the largest part of that is ad valorem. That's our biggest moneymaker, and not that it's money making. And then sales tax being the second largest. And Mayor DeBrio and I have had a discussion about this, and I do believe, and I will be the first to say, I'm very conservative on my revenues, but I do believe I'm extremely conservative on my sales tax revenue. With the new businesses we have coming in, I think that sales tax will be a lot higher than what I have projected, which will be a great thing because that will cover this deficit that we're showing right now in the budget. Budget information for you, we have a 3% salary expenditure increase. We decreased consulting and engineering fees by 65% from this budget from last year, as well as a 10% increase in property and liability insurance premiums. And then I have a 10% increase in health insurance, but from what we're getting from others, I think that's probably going to be a little low. We'll probably see more like a 15% increase on health insurance. But maybe other things will happen that we can make those adjustments for. But the biggest reason why paving and consulting and engineering fees are down is simply because we're moving that out of the general fund, and it's going to be covered, hopefully, or will be covered with the bond issue. First department we have in the city is our legislative, which is the mayor and the city council, as they are the governing body for the city. They're elected to 4-year terms, and they perform the legislative duties while administrative duties are assigned to the city manager. Their budget, very small, $57,760. Its salaries, of course, no change to that at this time. Travel and training, and redistricting fees and surety bonds. And the largest expenditure of that is the redistricting fees. It's something that's required after every census is taken. It would have been done this year, but we just are small, so we kind of got pushed back further and further until I think we're going to be next year before we actually get the cost and the redistricting taken care of. Next department is judicial. This is our court department. We have a court clerk, a deputy court clerk, a judge who is part-time, prosecutor and assistant prosecutor, and public defender who are all contracted. And you can see their total budget for that department is $202,000 in expenditures. Next one is administrative. This is the daily operations of the city, which includes myself, the city clerk, the finance department, and the human resources department. Our budget includes 6 employees: city manager, city clerk, deputy city clerk, comptroller, finance clerk, and receptionist. The receptionist is only part-time for us. The other half is set to public works. One of our biggest expenditures, other than the salaries, of course, is legal fees, and then we have grant matching, which comes out of there, going to cover for any grants and the percentages for that. And their total expenditure is $937,000. Next is the police department, which is an interlocal agreement that we have with the Hancock County Sheriff's Department, and we've had in place since July 2012. The officers responded since October 1st, 2021 to more or less present, 11,381 calls. Their budget is $1.1 million. This is 12 officers, 1 captain, 1 investigator, 10 patrol officers, and 1 administrative assistant. The city pays for all expenditures, cars, and other uniforms and other expenses for the police to cover anything that they have and/or need. There is a lot of talk about some changes to that, which, my best guess, that we may be looking at possibly a $200,000 increase to that budget. If everything goes as anticipated. So we'll have to make those adjustments if needed. Next department is planning and zoning. They carry out the duties of the development coordinator and in conjunction with the building official and his staff. There's 7 planning and zoning commissioners, which meet once a month. They receive zoning application, or they administer zoning applications, ordinances, and compliance with in the city of Diamond Head. Okay, I'm not going there. There we go. The building department includes code enforcement, issuing permits, building inspections, review construction plans for compliance, floodplain management, as well as privilege license for businesses. The activity since October 1, 2021 through present, we had 524 permits issued, 49 single-family home residence building permits, 2,766 inspections, which is amazing at how many that is since October 1st, and 274 code enforcement complaints. Just this year, he had another 76, I believe he said, that carried over from last year that he has dealt with during this year. Subdivision developments that we have going on, Deer Crossing has been completed, and I think 10 of those lots have already been permitted and built. Construction has started on. Diamond Head Lakes Phase 1 is under consideration tonight by you at the council. We can hope for that one. The preserve, Phase 1 has been completed with 23 lots. The final plat was approved by the council a few weeks ago. Phase 2 is getting worked on and it's under engineering design. And I can tell you Phase 2 through 7 is also being worked on, and with Phase 2 being designed right now by the engineer. And then we have the Make Diamond Head Great Again subdivision with 76 lots. That's still in sketch plan. We have other developments. The medical center opened Monday or Tuesday, I think it was. So that was a wonderful thing for the city of Diamond Head to see get open. With a Love's Pharmacy, I think, coming in pretty soon thereafter if we can get through final inspection. The Serenity condos are under construction. The Beehive assisted living facility is also has a building permit issued, and they're under construction now. PetSense, unfortunately, didn't quite make it on their final inspection, but with a few changes and modifications, we'll get there. So they're getting close, and that'll be open soon. The Taco Bell building permit has been issued, and so that construction should start soon. Diamond Head Water and Sewer, its new water well is started construction. I believe they have all the pilings in, so we should see that come out of the ground pretty soon. And then the Coastal Electric substation has been permitted, and I think they have site work permitted and started. The building department's total budget is just under $500,000 with 5.5 employees, building official. We hope 2 building inspectors if we can find a second one sooner or later. Our clerk, the development coordinator, and then our code enforcement officer who is part-time. The rest is consulting fees. Our biggest expenditure in there is going to be our zone code rewriting. I actually met with Orion Planning, who's working on that today, and they're ready to get started and should hopefully have something for us within the next few months to start reviewing over. Public Works is the next department we have in the city. They are maintaining all of our grass cutting, drainage, streets, signage, and everything else, litter control, you name it. For the city. Current budget of there is 1.78, that's almost $1.8 million, with 18 employees that we are, I believe, 2-3 short, maybe, of workers right now, so which is better than we have been. So hopefully we can get the rest of those people hired and get everybody, or get all our work done that we need. But we have a director, 1 supervisor, actually you need to update that, a mechanic, the 15 workers, and then the 1 clerk, which is part-time, as I said, she's shared with the administration. Biggest thing, streetlights and irrigation that they're working on, engineering fees for paving, drainage projects throughout the city, and then capital outlays, mainly paving and drainage projects. Next department, which is not a person, but anyway, is our economic development department. We do not, as I said, there are no employees associated with this department, but this is our city events and promotions, which are $55,000, and then we have consulting fees for our lobbyists, our NG Consulting, SMPDD, grant writing, and others. And then our Main Street, Mississippi Main Street, which we had a great meeting the other day with them and hope to get that off the ground and get that moving forward. Some of the city-sponsored events that we have, the Blessing of the Classics, Town Green Christmas Celebration, National Night Out, Fireworks Event, Barbecue Festival, and so on. We are doing a lot and keep trying to do a lot to help promote the city and get people to come here. Funding appropriations proposed. These are what we provide to other nonprofit entities for next year. The new one there is the PRCC CTAP, and I wish I could tell you what that stood for. I probably knew that earlier, but that's the assisted, scholarship program for
Community
it.
tuition assistance program.
Community tuition assistance, look at there, thank you. See, I knew somebody would know. Which would be a great thing to help the students in Diamond Head to get some tuition assistance if they need for going to further education in community college. Next thing is debt service. This is the debt that we have a lease on vehicle equipment. This is year 2 of 5. Our copier leases, this is 12 through 23 as we pay them each month, of 48. So it's a 4-year lease, is really all there is there. And then, of course, City Hall, which we're over halfway through paying on this building here. So total debt service of $184,000, which is not too bad. Now, if we get this GO bond, that's going to make a big difference in that. But we've got the money set aside and earmarked for that. This is our total budget for the Mississippi Infrastructure Program, which is the bond repayment that we will I just referenced. $400,000 that comes in going out. Yes, that is the internet sales tax that we get. The next one is American Rescue Recovery Act. The funds coming in from there, the $2 million we're anticipating. We'll do some engineering consulting, and then mostly will be used for capital outlay for drainage. Some other projects, these are the projects we have going on. The town center roads, we have several grants that have covered a lot of this project, so we hopefully will see some major changes to our downtown and what the city of Diamond Head looks like here in the 2023 fiscal year. The Noma Drive boat launch, if permits would ever get to us, we would be able to get that started, and that would be a very nice boat launch to have, as it has more of a direct access to the Jordan River and out to the Gulf, to the bay, than what our current marina does. The Montjoy Creek improvements would be a nice walkway and kayak launch. Yeah, I thought so. Coming off of that as well. So again, waiting on some permits from that, and hopefully we can make that one happen too. Other projects, as I mentioned earlier, the zone code rewriting, that's the biggest one for the building department. We're trying to get those codes up to date, or zoning codes up to date. The Gateway Master Plan still getting worked on, wayfinding and navigation. The I-10 improvements on exit 16, hopefully someday soon we'll get there, but we'll wait and see. Street paving, we have phase 4 of our street paving will happen in next year's budget. It just, we're meeting I think at the end of this week to do a pre-con with the contractor, and they may start here in the next few weeks on that project already. East Aloha Phase 2, unfortunately, I have to say that one. But this will be the beautiful sidewalks and street lighting and everything else that will get done on that project, as well as the Main Street Association, getting that whole project going and moving forward in FY23. Drainage projects that we have, the Turnberry Drive Drainage Project Phase 2, we're going to get back on that one and hope we can get that whole project put together and get moving on that one. The Subbasin A drainage projects, any other land acquisitions, which we acquired a lot of land in the last year, so I don't know that we necessarily need any others, but if we do, we will aggressively get that land so that we can have one spot that the water goes to and not to everybody's house. The McKeekee Drive drainage project is going on right now. We're working on, I believe, getting ready to hopefully cut the road and put the new culvert in. That's going to be the next big part of that project, and that'll help a lot of the drainage problems that we have on that road. Cola Court, I think it's 50%-ish right now, so we'll get that engineering drawings done soon and get that out to. And the Hilo Street drainage, unfortunately, is on your agenda tonight, hopefully to approve, and we can move forward with that. And the dredging pond, detention ponds, not just the 2 we have on the agenda tonight that I've asked you to table, but others as well, so we can get our ponds everywhere where we need them dredged out so that we can have more surface area to hold water. That's the biggest thing. And thank you for attending. Any questions?
Thank you, John. Any questions to my left? Any questions to my right? I have one question. So we're looking at the solid waste budget, and we worked on getting the solid waste rates set, and we had an overage. We set it at 189. Then we know we're going to use the surplus because everything is, well, the 189 should have covered. We had a surplus left. But going into 2023, we feel there's a shortage because in 2024,
2023, there is not a shortage. We should end with about $75,000.
Surplus.
Is my intention, or.
Mhm. And I remember
expect.
that. We had a lot left
But in
over.
2024, if they increase and increase
If
again.
they do the 3%. Mhm.
Then we will be looking at probably a shortfall in 2024.
If they don't, then we should be fine. But
I would
neither
think we
here
would
nor
be.
there, we were looking at the cardboard dumpster, but it doesn't seem to be realistically allowable with this current
Right.
budget. So
Okay.
we need to get better at recycling in the bin. We're gonna have to do a little bit more education to help residents know what they can recycle, what they can, and not dumping things out. And not stacking up beside the bin, because we can't get the cardboard dumpster. So we're gonna have to work on that. The other thing was Keep Diamond Head Beautiful. We did not allocate funding last year.
That is correct.
And we probably don't need to again this year. We're starting to meet back, but we're fine with funding. So
Right.
you can take that off there and put it back into the revenue, that 3
Certainly,
million.
I can do that, no problem.
I had 2 other questions, but can you email us those?
The presentation,
Mhm.
I certainly can.
An excellent job, John.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
No problem.
It's exciting things going on in Diamond Head, a lot, and I know it's 24/7.
And hopefully more exciting things coming.
Oh, I think so. So moving along, we're going to do public comments. And can I have, before we do public comments, I'm going to go ahead and make a motion. Could I get someone to move to approve the minutes for the August 2nd, 2022 meeting minutes?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Cumberland. Could I get a second? Second made by Councilman Clark. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Jeannie?
Yes. Did anybody have any comments on the budget? I apologize. We love feedback. No comments? Okay. Y'all had a
Very thorough,
chance.
Very good, John.
Okay. So, and don't get offended if I don't call your name in the order that it's here. There's reasons for that, because I want to try to get the engineers and the people that have the subdivision in last, so we can allow them time to rebut. So don't be emotional if I don't call you up. Donna Decker, you're first, honey. Mhm. Can you please state your address and your name?
Donna Decker. I live at 7619 Fairway Drive in Diamond Head. And I'm here to talk about the Elliott Homes project, where a lot of us realtors have major concerns about what they're doing out there, what they're proposing to do. I might be wrong, but I was told and understand that there's going to be either maybe four different designs of homes that are 1,300 square feet, thereabout. And we have sold some of the homes where they first put in, the expensive ones, with the intention thinking this was going to be a development that would continue to look like that, rather than to look like track housing. And I mean, everybody's using that term track housing. I can see it coming, because they might put the garage on one side or the other, but it's basically they're all the same. They have already been able to change the variance for zoning to make the homes closer. I just think that, try to say this nicely, that's always hard for me. But I think there's too much greed involved. I mean, this town has been developed over many, many years, and with architectural plans and permissions, with a great deal of thought into it. And right now, it just seems like they're getting slam dunked and jammed in there. And they took away, they didn't take it away, they bought it. I don't even know if they joined the POA yet in that area. It wasn't when they bought it. I don't know if it is now. They came with the promise they were going to make it part of the POA, which would help revenues. But I don't know what to say other than that. It looks like on the agenda, and you're going to approve their plans tonight.
Their plat, their first plat with the 46 homes for Diamond Head Lakes is on the agenda.
All right, and is that the one where they're gonna be around 1,300 square feet apiece?
I've got your questions on here. When the engineer comes up, I'm gonna have those answers for you. I'm gonna let the engineer tell you about the homes.
All right, well, I'm
All right.
not alone on this. We're all kind of upset about it.
Okay, we're
With
gonna
what's
get
going
the
on.
answers for you tonight, and you can go back and tell the others as well,
Okay, or I told them to watch,
the YouTube.
yeah.
Thank you, honey. Thank you, Donna.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Michael Bottoms. Oh, wait, you're Elliot Holmes. You sit back there just a second. Okay. Pat, you're next.
Thank you. Is it on? It's on.
It's on, honey.
So first I want to say that I showed 2 homes out there last week, and I was very impressed with the quality and everything. I was not impressed with the yards in the back. I thought it left a lot to be desired, and hopefully they're going to be working on those. But I was also expecting park-like settings, especially upset that the crepe myrtles on the pond were gone. I remember a few years ago when we had a presentation, and that was a question that one of the realtors brought up. Hopefully you're not going to cut down those crepe myrtles. They're gone. So I'm concerned with the changes requested that the increased density will affect the integrity of the subdivision.
Thank you, Pat. Now, are the next two, well, this is an agenda item. Darrell, is yours an agenda item? No, it's drainage. You always stay for the meeting, so, sorry. You're a non-agenda, so you have to wait. I'm so sorry. Bill, and you are here to talk about stop signs. And thank you for the corrections you found.
Thanks.
Our legal counsel thanks you as well.
I'm Bill Atkinson. I'm at 898 Catalao Place, and I want to talk about consent item 16, the traffic impact study. One thing I want to point out is that city ordinances say that the council shall appoint a city traffic engineer. It doesn't give any qualifications. The reason I think that's important is because the ordinances give the city traffic engineer or his designee the sole discretion to place city traffic control devices, not the city council. So what I think is that I'm suggesting is that the city council should appoint a city traffic engineer to make these decisions, to bring them to the council, things like that. The second thing, as far as traffic control devices, is I actually took a picture of this on the way here. Is the stop sign at Diamond Head Drive eastbound at Kalani that tells traffic they should stop, yield to oncoming traffic. The bottom of that sign is about 2 feet off the ground, and regulations say that all signs should be at least 48 inches above the edge of the road. And I'm thinking that the city might incur some liability if there's a wreck there, and the enterprising attorney could say the city didn't put the sign up right, and so they should have some liability. So I'm thinking that possibly that this traffic impact study should be expanded a little bit to go and find more of these non-conforming traffic signs that might give rise to liability for the city.
That's an excellent suggestion.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bill.
Right.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay, next we're going to move on, and I do realize I still have 3 people left, so don't get upset. I'm going to move on to we've got 2 topics here that we're hardly talking about tonight, and one of the topics is the Diamond Head Lakes Phase 1, 46 homes that are being built and their plats on the agenda. Then we have East Aloha that was tabled about the pay request. So I am going to start with East Aloha. Let's get that addressed, see where we are. I'm going to ask the engineer of record, which is Jason Kenichi, to come up and tell us where we are. We've got action items on the agenda. you know, we need some help knowing where we are and where we're headed.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Jason Kenichi with Kenichi Engineering and Surveying. We do have several action items for you to consider tonight, one being a change order request for some additional days, and then a pay request, I believe it's number 4, for Moran Hauling. So I'm here to address any questions that you may have. The schedule, as John McGraw mentioned earlier, is paving should take place on Thursday of this week. They hope that they can get it all completed in one day, but it may roll over some into Friday. But with all luck, we should be finished with the paving by Friday. And then the only thing left after that is just going to be the striping, which we have to wait about 10 or 14 days for the asphalt to cure before we can actually stripe it.
Okay, we do have a tabled item here. I have a question. We have a tabled item that is for the approval of the change order that had the 50 days, with substantial being at, I want to say September 6th.
August.
August
Yes, ma'am.
6th. 5th.
5th.
It was August 5th. I knew it was around that time. So, oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Okay. So looking at the date that we have on here, and I was wondering how Derek was so on and he had a calendar. I'm on it now, Derek. So with the substantial completion date, what date are you recommending for the substantial completion?
August 5th, which was last Friday.
Okay.
That's when the road was opened up to traffic throughout.
So to move the project moving forward, we know we're at the paving part, and then they're going to probably wait a few days to do striping. How long is that process to get to do the striping?
They'll wait about 10 to 14 days for the asphalt to cure before they can have the striping scheduled. In between that time, what we'll do is do a final inspection on the paving itself to see if there's any issues that need to be addressed, any low spots or high spots that need to be reworked by the contractor. We want to get all those addressed before they come back to stripe it so that everything's ready for the striping.
And in order for the paperwork to be in order, which is very critical on these projects, to get the pay request in, right? Are you recommending we approve this change order to get the days in and then do the substantial completion motion on the agenda?
Yes, ma'am. I think that's the proper route.
Okay. And when do we anticipate final inspection?
Well, if they pave Thursday and Friday, then we would be out there probably middle of next week to go through and look at the paving. And that way they have some time to get any areas addressed before they have the striping. The striping should only take about a half a day to maybe a day, and then we can do a final inspection at that point and work towards closing out the contract.
Okay. Any questions to my left? Got a question to my left.
Oh, well, actually, just the utilities. I know we talked about it just a little while ago. Right now, we have the fire hydrants. And a lot of people are concerned about fire hydrants being right there in the parking spaces. So those will be moved in phase 2 or done something with in phase 2.
That is correct. Yes.
Okay. All right. So that should.
That's
take
been
care
the
of-
plan from the beginning. With the utility adjustments would be part of phase 2.
Yeah. Okay. Also, the curbing down by Veterans looks really sharp. It looks much better. It kind of gives you a wider turn in and stuff.
Yeah, that's going to work out well down there.
Yeah, that's
Very
really
good improvement. I concur.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions to my
I
right?
believe. Jason, 2 things were brought to my attention by one of the residents today. A dip as soon as you turn in by the, I guess that's the daiquiri shop.
Yes, sir.
It seems pretty low. I did drive over it today, and what are we going to do about that? Is
So
there
the
a way to-
contractor has a lid that he's poured. He had to get a special grate to fit on top of the existing box. That was a box that was already installed and already in the area. So he's got a new lid to pour on top of that. That'll be installed probably tomorrow. And then that way, when they come back and pave on Thursday, everything ties right into that. And it'll be about 3.5 inches taller, so it'll take out that dip.
All right, that's good. The other thing is, he was comparing this is the progress estimate, number 3, and then compared to number 4. I think John might have been showing you this earlier.
He did. He brought some numbers to my attention that I'm pretty sure I can explain to you.
Good, because, I'd like to hear that. So basically, it's a change order. We had 2 of them. One was for $45,000, one was for like 6?
I think it's around
Come up to
6.
about $51,000.
Right.
So what's the other $17,000?
So what you have to look at on those change orders, the actual water line that was relocated, that total cost was about $68,000 for the pipe, the work, the fire hydrants, and everything else. So that first change order also had a deduct of about $24,000 from the brick pavers. There were some raised crosswalks that were an alternate in the original bid, and then it was added to the contract and then taken out via change order so that that would be part of phase 2. So the deduct is what makes up some of that difference.
So there is a deduct in the change order number 1.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I can point it out to you if I can.
I don't think I have that, the change order number 1.
It should be. If you see the total $45,000, then you should have that change order 1 shown in there.
I don't see that. I just have the progress estimate for number 3. I don't have the change orders.
Okay.
But no, that was something. I can go back and look at that. I think that was it.
And that change order number 2 is for Coast Chlorinator, right, to come chlorinate the water line?
There was an additional
Mm-hmm.
cost for Coast Chlorinator to come in.
Yeah.
There was a special injection that they had to do, so that was to cover those costs. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So we eliminated the brick pavers. Did we eliminate any days for that in the process? Because I'm sure that
No,
took
sir, because
time.
it was part of an alternate. It was an alternate bid.
Bid alternate.
Okay.
Right. So it wasn't in the base bid.
The original 75
Right.
days wasn't in that?
No, sir.
Okay. That's it.
Any other questions to my right? So we're ready to move forward. This has been a long journey on this road. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Jason.
So now moving on to our big topic here, Phase 1, Diamond Head Lakes, and I guess we're going to start with the city engineer. Well, no, let's not start with you. Let's start with Elliot, and then you can address the questions that we have. Sorry, Ben. Okay, Kira, you want to lead? And I hate to put you on the spot to start out with, but Donna had some questions. The home floor plans, how many home floor plans do you have?
Well, first, council members and mayor, thank you for having us tonight, and thank you for allowing me to speak on this.
Sorry, Kara.
You're fine. Used to it. So we do have Elliot Holmes here who can speak a
Oh,
little bit
okay.
more to the homes and layouts and stuff. I can speak briefly and let you know that I believe there are 6 total different elevations that you will actually see from the roadway. The range in square footage is from 1,300 to about 2,000 square footage, so there is a wide variety there. I don't want to say it will look like tract housing. I think it will be a little bit better and more desirable for the city. I'll speak more on the technical
Okay,
and on
let's
the
hear it.
plat, and then we can let Michael come up and speak more to the homes and the layouts and the pretty stuff.
Thank you,
Stick to the
Kara.
nerdy stuff. So we're just here tonight to ask for approval for the agenda item. We've worked very hard. I know it's been here the last 2 times on agenda and got tabled, but we've worked very hard. We're down to 3 contingency items on there, and I know we'll get them done in the next week. We are working very close with the contractor and the surveyor to get the as-built and everything, and Ben. So we are working hard, and we're looking for your approval tonight. If you have any questions or specifics about the project, I'm here and happy to answer.
I have one. The 3 items that we have left, you feel that's very achievable and you can get those done because, you know, we want building permits issued. We didn't want this, I think we've been doing this since May. We have been working on this final plat since May. So you feel you can do these last 3 items that are contingent upon the final plat approval with no issue?
Yes.
Okay, any questions to my left? Any questions to my right?
I have some. Do we want to wait for him to come up, or do you want to take all the questions?
I will be more technical, I would say, and as far as the
Okay.
beautiful side of the homes and prettiness and what they're
That's
going to look
fine.
like and layout, I'll let Michael speak to
No
that.
problem. Thank you for all your work.
No technical questions?
Probably not.
Okay, if you need them.
I have one thing. Did we get that easement worked out for the POA on back of the lots?
For the golf course,
Yes.
it was shown on the last draft for the final plat.
Okay, excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else for me? Just let me know.
Thank you.
Thank you. So next we have Mr. Michael Bottoms. Finally, I keep telling you to sit down.
Council members, thank you for having me.
Good to see you.
Okay, so I will speak on behalf of the comments that I have heard. First of all, we are going to be, we have 3 different homes that we're building back there that have 4 different elevations associated with each. So there's potentially 12 different, looking homes. I provided, I made copies of what we're planning on building back there. for you to be able to see. These are just in the
Thank
2D
you.
as we're just getting started with the project. But it'll give you an example.
Thank you.
Now, the one thing that I will not agree with, it was anything related to greed, in terms of what we do here. I've been in home building for 26 years. I just moved to the Gulf Coast of Mississippi about 4 months ago to join Elliott Homes and to be their Vice President of Sales and Marketing. This is a vocation to me, at providing home ownership, working with customers, at being able to deliver a home where they're gonna live with family, their friends, and make memories. It's what I do. I mean, it's something that's wonderful, and it's a great call. Now, when I get really excited, when I come up to a neighborhood like Diamond Head, which is, kind of nestled between the Gulf Coast and New Orleans. I know some of the history here of Elliott Homes, and we haven't caused harm to this neighborhood, and I'm quite sure of that. I mean, in being in real estate as long as I have, and a large part of me is research marketing, at knowing what everything is doing, it's like, to a large degree, we've been blessed with a favorable real estate market for a lot of years. But in this one particular neighborhood, I mean, Elliott Homes has done a lot here to really significantly increase the values, of the properties in this particular, city, with the joint coordination of y'all's talents of bringing in the community, the neighborhood, and having all those things that everybody loves to enjoy. The combination of the two, in my opinion, has worked out extremely well. I mean, most of the homes that we were selling over the past year were well over $200 per square foot. And it was just like, and I've got some examples here. I ran some numbers. Your current active listings in Diamond Head right now is averaging about $143 per square foot. Your current pendings, which are the ones that recently went under contract in the last 3 months, were averaging about $152 per square foot. Your closed homes, are averaging about $144 per square foot. Diamond has a wide variety of homes of all different ages, and it was like there are some selling for $80,000 and $90,000 that are dilapidated at $1,100 or $1,200. I mean, it is all over the place. We're bringing in brand new homes here. I mean, it was like we're not building cheap tract homes. I mean, these are homes that have have brick foundations. They're going to have James Hardy, cementitious siding, architectural shingles. It's like everything. You look at the entranceway outside of Diamond Head, going into Deer Crossing. It's like we're not trying to do anything cheaper. We're not trying to bring anything less. I mean, or if you look, it's like one of the homes that are 1,397 square feet. Well, we're going to come out with $265,000 for that house. Well, that's still at $190 a foot. I mean, that's still so far above, what the neighborhood is bringing, and still going to do incredible things for this particular neighborhood in terms of like bringing in new homeowners. Let me tell you some of the other things that we ran into where greed's involved, apparently. Those homes that were coming in at $500,000, $550,000 and all of that type of stuff, they weren't appraising. The banks weren't giving the customers the loans, to be able to, they couldn't support it. We're not going to lend that much money. So instead of having to, be in situations where we're going back to our homeowners saying, well, we're sorry, but it's about $60,000 short, or $50,000 or $40,000. There were a handful. There was more than those than we wanted to be able to admit. Well, the customer doesn't really necessarily want to pay for all of that. Or does we? It's like they have questions of like, why? Yeah, this is like, well, it is what it is. So we modified our strategy. The home sites, we're talking about backyards and we don't like what happened. I don't like the backyards on some of those homes either. Why? Because with the lot sizes and what we're having to work with, those big houses don't give anybody a backyard. So, you deal with that. But Diamond Head, it was like, we're committed here. It was like, I've been with my owner who's been in front of these meetings. It's like, we want to do the right things. It was like, and we want to put homes, we look at the budget, and it's like, more homeowners coming in and contributing is going to be a wonderful thing. And it was like, and I want to be here. I want to sell the homes here. Because I know that with me, with the company and what we're doing now and all of those types of things, we're going to be in a great place. We've got things simplified. Why are we doing tract homes? These homes are loaded. These homes have like level 4 cabinetry. We're talking hardwood, ceramic tiles in wet areas. We're talking fully loaded with appliances. This isn't nothing base. This is most of the things that are still in those $400,000 homes over there. A lot of that's still gonna be showing up in these homes that we're building back there right now. I don't agree, and there's no proof that would show that this would do anything to hurt this particular neighborhood or cause harm to anyone. This is an amazingly wonderful thing. We're having to make some adjustments. Yeah, but it's just like you can't offer 700 options on homes when the supply chain will only deliver 100 of them to you. So we had to make some things, a little bit different and a little bit more predictable so our customers could have a better experience. We would still keep the same Elliott quality that we've been doing, throughout the course of time, but then be able to do it a little bit faster and be able to put more people in here and be able to enjoy this neighborhood. So, any further questions?
I have one. How many homes do you plan to build this year out of these 46?
I mean, we would probably plan on building all of them.
All of them?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any of these ready to build, sold?
Oh yeah, as soon as this plat's approved, we'll come out of the ground with 10 houses, right out of the gate. We've got reservations on 5 or 6 of these already. It's like it's not if this is going to be successful, it's going to be successful, and it allows some new people into the family. Don't forget about the fact that the interest rates have gone up 2% in the last 60 days. Home building is in the midst of a change. You've got major builders across the country already discounting homes like crazy, thinking something's gone down. And it was like it's going to be relatively volatile. It has that potential. But it was like, not with this, and it was like, this is good for the neighborhood. We're not undermining anybody's values. If anything, we're still bringing them up because we're way above you. And it was like it's 190 foot for 1,400 square feet, and it's a beautiful home. And somebody gets to come here who may not be able, because not everybody can afford a $500,000 or $550,000 home. In fact, there's very few people, and it's even getting harder, for that to be able to happen. And then if we can't get the materials to be able to deliver to them that we thought we could get, and then they start getting dissatisfied, it's like you make some changes to do the right thing. Bring good homes to the people in a wonderful neighborhood, and it's like, and we love it here in Diamond Head. But we don't want to fight, tooth and nail, and it's like, I'm sure there are things we could have done better and made things go a little bit quicker. Great, we're always trying to improve. But we're at the point where it was just like greed. It was just like, we've been have those roads paved back there for 6 months, and it was like sitting on those home sites, and not being able to turn, your investment is like, that's costing them a fortune, at each every month. And it was like, and I want this madness to be done with so we can do what we're supposed to do. We're y'all's partner in this neighborhood, if you choose to be. Because if D.R. Horton comes in and buys all these lots, that 190 and 175 a foot will be 140 and 125 a foot, and they won't think twice about it. And it's not a joke. I know what they do. I study everything in the marketplace and how everybody prices their homes. They work on an economy of scale across the country. They will blast through there. And their homes don't look anything like ours, and it was like, and they do not have the quality, and it was like, and I don't want that. I don't want that. This is a great place to be, and I appreciate what y'all have done here, because you've given something to us that's really great to sell. And it's like, a quality of life that people can get to enjoy in this neighborhood.
So I'm going to have to ask about the 3 things that's on the list.
Okay.
So we're ready to move forward to get those finished as quick as possible, and you're willing to get the 3 items. And the past 2 agendas, y'all had 9 items.
Yes.
It took everything in my breath to read out what we had to do. We're down to 3 now, and we
Yes.
feel confident you can get these accomplished so that.
Mayor, it was like, we can get these accomplished.
Okay.
You've seen the work that's gone on in the last 30 to 45 days, from the entire list, of just, they've been back there just,
Yeah, they have been.
yeah, and it was like, and there's no intent, of like not wanting to do anything. It was like, we want to have a great relationship. I see all of y'all's little functions that y'all do throughout the course of the year. It's like, why isn't Elliott Homes, it's sponsoring y'all that jointly hand in hand? That's the type of relationship we need to have. And all of the realtors here, nobody loves realtors more than me, you know, and it's like, I want a winning relationship with all of you, and I want all of y'all on our side showing our homes and all of that type of stuff. And I think we're a great reason to be able to do so.
I have one more question, then I'm going to ask the council if they have any questions. So the POA came up. Did you all, those lots are tied to the POA, so those lots will become, once it's applied at subdivision, they will become members of the Property Owners Association?
Yeah, I have no reason to believe that that's not happened or hasn't happened, you know, since I've been here. But there's certainly no intent to try to exclude ourselves or anything along those lines. I mean, we want to be part of the neighborhood.
Okay, any questions to my left?
Yeah. All right. So I just have to tell you that I talk with lots of realtors, and I think the Elliott home had quality homes until they started doing 30 or 40 subdivisions at a time, and they kept losing the supervisors of the subdivisions, and the quality went down. And you can ask realtor after realtor after realtor, and they'll say the cottage series is where more people complain about that have actually bought the homes than any other product of Elliott. So you're telling us that the quality will be just the same, it's just smaller, and that's not what I'm hearing from the realtors. That the quality of your cottage homes is not the same as Elliott's other products that are bigger and better. And that's just what the worry is, I think, with the people here, that you're going down from a bigger home down to the smaller size, and you even got it here, the cottage series, that you're going to the cottage homes. And I think that the quality of the work of those isn't as greatly looked at as you do for your bigger, more expensive homes. That's all I hear.
I understand. You know, and I mean, again, in home building, it was like, and I've heard those same type of comments, you know, and Brandon, I mean, has taken, you know, those types of comments seriously. I mean, his whole success has to be built on his reputation. You know, and we've taken a hit with some of those types of things. And it's like we've gone through some of the struggles associated with growing home builders. It was like, we certainly have about 10 neighborhoods and not all of that. But it was like, but he's also hired a lot of the right people who've been in home building for most of their lives and, you know, have done everything and know a lot of the things and experienced a lot of those things. Delivering happy homeowners and quality homes is something that we're not going to think. You know, it's like somebody mentioned in the past, well, the cottage series, it's got a negative connotation. Call it the Diamond Head series. It's just the name on it doesn't really matter. But it was like, these are the same features that are going in these homes, a completely new way of business that will go in the same homes like the Adrians. It's like the features are going to be the same. It's not like that it's like somebody has to see the product being built, because we've never built a cottage product like we're getting ready to build in this particular neighborhood. It was like, it's something entirely different. And I don't think it's going to be anything, you know, at that. There's no way you're going to go into my section of homes and look at our cottage homes and say, you know what, those are the worst looking homes in this neighborhood. They are really killing us. It's not going to happen. You'll know better, you know. And it was like, these homes are going to stand the test of time, and they're going to look, you know, incredibly good in this neighborhood 20 years from now, just from the way that they're built. I mean, it was like, and it's doing good things for the people here. And it was like, and it continued to do so. We want to be the best. We want good customer service, you know, take care of our homeowners, both before and after the sale. That's who we are, you know, and it was like, and we've got the resources in place to do it. And yes, we are simplifying things, you know, so we can run our business a little bit more efficiently. It's going to be a little bit more, you know, turbulent. You know, we still have labor shortage, product shortages, and all of these things to deal with. But it was like, doing it the right way, you know, and having a place where we can be able to call home and be with Diamond Head and partner with y'all guys for years to come. That's what I would want, and that's what he wants. You know, and it's like, in our relationship, you know, it can do nothing but just get incredibly better and more beneficial, you know, at partnering together. And I hope that's what happens here.
Okay, any more questions to my left?
Okay, say I just bought a home in the very first 11 y'all built there, okay, say I bought that. Okay. So am I going to see trucks, you know, going in and out while y'all build the 46 homes, you know, down that one road? That's your only access point, right?
Well, I mean, that's our only choice at this particular point of being able to get back there. So yeah, I mean, that's going to be a challenge. Y'all saw what that road looked like when we built them. At least we've got all the homes built there, and we've got the stakes up, we've landscaped in there, we've cleaned it up. It was like, so we have no reason for trucks to stop, you know, on that main thoroughfare anymore, because all of the homes are completed there. So once they get back to the back section, you know, and go in their separate ways, we're thinking that, you know, for a while anyway, you know, we're going to be in good shape.
So the estimated amount of time as a homeowner there, how long will it take you to get 46 houses built?
I got a little comment on that. So it was actually brought to our attention yesterday or the other day when we did our walkthrough from the fire department that once we get to 30 homes on phase one, we will then need another egress out of the subdivision. We can't just have the one way in. So we're working on that right now, actually. We're drawing it up. We're gonna work with John and y'all and make sure that we can get some kind of ingress and egress coming in and out for phase one to finish out once it gets past 30 homes, and then for phase two, because it was not shown in the master plan and it was just brought to our attention. So we're working on it. We're working on finding another access point that will just happen during the process of the first 30 homes and hopefully before phase two. We're working on that.
And as far as your roads back there, I mean, if people are parking on the sides, are you gonna have, is there gonna be enough room for a fire truck or somebody to get by? I mean, I know the roads back here are kind of
On the main drag, I mean, the construction people will clear them out. I mean, if somebody parks out, I mean, that's part of their job is to
I'm
try to.
talking about even after everybody's, everybody moved in, suddenly they have fire back there, fire trucks are gonna be able to get in on your road back there?
I see why, no reason why it wouldn't.
Where are you starting to build at first? Do we know?
Once we get to the end of the street, we're going to the right side.
So lots one through on that first.
Yeah,
right
we're
hand
going
side.
down that cul-de-sac.
Okay, to the right. You're going to the right
Mhm.
first. Okay. Any other questions? Any questions to my right?
Thank you, Karen. Yeah, I want to say something. I see a lot of changes in the roof line on these houses, but honestly, they all look the same to me on every page.
I mean, there's some differences.
I mean, and the color, a little bit change in the roof
We're
line.
gonna be able to change the color schemes, on all of them. So so
But
we
you can
are
only
gonna
do
be
so
able to
much, though,
create-
right?
What's that?
You can only do so much. We have windows on the same side. I mean, are you gonna flip the garages? Is that gonna be an option,
Well, I
or?
mean, again, it was like some of the home sites might lend to it, one garage being on one side or the other due to something that, one of the drains or something on the front. But I mean, it was like, I think it'll be more variation than you feel.
I think that's maybe what the idea of a track home came from. I don't think it's about the quality of the granite that you have inside. I know you built a high quality home, but if you turn down a street and every house looks basically the same, you see my point?
No, I understand. I mean, it's a perception thing, it was like, I think it would look different enough to where, I mean, it's acceptable,
And when you first look at it in a print, I sent it back to Kara and I said, Kara, you sent me four the same plan.
Yeah.
Because I looked at it quick, and I did this my whole life, but I mean, I looked at it fast, and it all looked, so you're gonna mirror some of the garages, the colors will be different, the landscaping will be different.
Yeah, I mean, it was
Because
like-
we have no, and this is the whole, I'm just gonna say the point we're trying to get to you. We have no area in Diamond Head that all the homes look alike, and we never want that. You can go down a street and you've got a home that's, from the 80s, then you've got a new home, then you've got one that's kind of contemporary, then you've got one from the 90s. We're very original here. Everybody is different, their homes, and we want to keep that tradition. So that's the point we're getting at. So flipping the garages, the roof, the colors, the landscaping.
I think
Mhm.
you can only do so much. That just
Mhm.
my take on it. Yes.
This one time we'll allow somebody to speak, and Councilman Cumberland, you are in trouble. Go ahead, Donna.
As far as raising the prices in Diamond Head, the economy, it did that. Elliott Homes did not come in and bring up the values of all of our homes. And the ones you're calling dilapidated, we're happy to find people to buy them and redo them. And I can tell you how many times I drive and I say, that house looks great, that one looks great, it's getting done. So, your key word that upset you was grief. Mine was dilapidated. I'm very proud of Diamond Head and the way it looks and is.
Well,
I
I'm
don't think that you came in and brought our values up as a community.
Well, I mean, in real estate, clearly, when it was like, when you're selling homes, at a much higher price per square foot than the neighbor is, it was like, appraisals pull those comps to assess values of that particular
I've
property.
been doing this since 1979. I understand appraisals and comps and where numbers come from.
Okay, well, let's move on. Is any other council members to the right?
Yes.
Councilman Lisi?
This is actually in my ward, so I've been contacted by a lot of people.
Okay.
I want to echo what Councilman Cumberland said. So to my eye, these all have the exact same footprint. The slab is exactly the same on every single one. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're calling this 12 different facades. I see shutters on some, shutters not. They all look like they have the same windows. Every garage faces the front, whether it's going to be on the left or the right. Everyone has the exact same gable roof, with some changes to smaller roof lines above a porch or a garage. These are not big changes, and they, in my opinion, they will look the same. Whether they're pink, blue, red, yellow, I mean, you can change all the colors. You can have every color of the rainbow. I think it's going to look like the same house because it is the same house. I mean, I'm looking at the plan right here. It's the exact
Well,
same.
and
Y'all
one of them
haven't-
is,
hold
one of
on.
them's 1,300, one's 1,900.
No, it's 13 cent. Well, that's because you added an
Yeah, it was
upstairs,
a-
so that's great. But it's the same footprint.
Okay.
The exact same house. Some have shutters, some don't. Okay. Do you and welcome if you're 4 months into the job, and I'm sorry this got thrown to you because this has been ongoing, and I'm sure you've heard. So, do you understand the history of this and why people might be upset that this change has happened with the second part of this subdivision? Do you I mean, I just want you, I want you to understand where the angst is coming from and that we're not just difficult people here for no reason, because I think you might feel that we are.
We're just trying to find a
No,
happy resolution.
I know, I
you
understand, but I want to know if you, do you know why people are upset?
Well, I mean, again, it was like anytime there's change, and it was like, well, I mean.
Is
sure,
it change, or is it y'all saying one thing and doing another?
Well, I mean, it was like, there was no malicious intent or anything.
Well, there might not be, but
Yeah.
do you understand that when Elliott came and kind of sold Diamond Head on this subdivision, this is not what we were told would happen? So, I wasn't on the council then, but I feel like if y'all, and not just you, if any builder came in right now and handed us this and said, you know what, we're gonna do a neighborhood with 46 of these, the same
Yeah.
house plan, do you think we'd be inclined to approve that? No, we wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't. I can't speak for everybody, but I think that would be a stretch. So what's happened is Elliott came in and said, you know what, we're gonna build upscale homes. They came in and did, and you weren't here, and I'm sorry, again, sorry this got dumped on you, but they gave some lovely presentations. Here are pictures of what the landscaping is gonna look like. We're gonna leave trees. You just heard the comment about the crepe myrtles.
Mhm.
Our surfaces are gonna be permeable to allow for drainage, and it's gonna be park-like. What's happened, they've come in and clear cut this property. It makes everybody cringe when they drive their golf carts down the course and see it looks like strip mining. And I'm so disgusted with the fact that happened. I know that you can't leave every tree, but you could have left some. And I don't mean you, obviously, it's not you. But I just want you to understand why the community is distrustful and upset. If Elliott did what it promised to do, I'd be your biggest champion, but that's not what we've seen. And again, you weren't here for that, and I'm sorry you've been kind of thrown to the wolves. But I don't want to, it's just so disappointing. It's not what we were told. It's not what the homeowners were told. And, you know, obviously y'all are, and I'm not saying the word greed, but y'all are going to save a ton of money if you are going to pour the same slab 46 times. And I mean, you're going to save a lot of money. You're going to make more money. So, I mean, I get the decision.
Well, it's not just staying in business as much as it is anything else. I mean, it was like when you start writing checks, you know, and covering house purchases by 25 or start appraisal shortfalls. I mean, it was like that's real bit. I mean, that's a lot of money. You know what I mean? I was like. I mean, it's like we've got a golf community. I mean, it was like, those are the square footages where, people don't want a 5,000 square foot or a 3,000 square foot. Somebody just wants to come in and, you know what I mean? A lot of people that are at my age, at 52 or even a little bit older, we don't need, all of that. But we want to come and enjoy a golf course and live in a golf course community.
I get it, but that's not what they said they were going to do when they came. So that's part of why people.
Well, and the home sites back there now are not big enough to even closely put in the size houses, that we were building on the street, or that. It's just like there will be no yards. I mean, most of them will be a no fit on the survey, going forward.
Okay, and another thing, so I have a person in my ward who is an Elliott Cottage, not not in this neighborhood,
Okay.
obviously. They're not built yet, but one of the cottages, she has had more trouble with warranty issues for her home and her yard than I have ever seen anywhere. I've personally been out there and walked around with a representative from Elliott. I've been copied on chains of emails. All I have seen from Elliott is finger pointing and excuses. She is 9 months into her 12-month warranty period, and she's unable to get her issues taken care of, and some of them are safety issues. I'm just very reluctant to approve anything, the final plat with any contingencies left, because I have not seen the follow-through that I think, you're expressing the intent. I haven't seen it, and I don't trust it. So I'm inclined not to vote for approval of the final plat until everything's done. If you've got 3 things left, finish them and come back. And I want to express to the realtors here that just because if the final plat gets approved, or when it gets approved, that's not approval for this. They still have to apply for individual building permits. And there are guidelines in place right now, even before the next planning and zoning meeting, and the P&Z commissioners address some of the requirements. Every house is going to need to be permitted, and there are some things in place that will keep things like all the garages from facing the front. So I don't want you to think, I don't want to confuse the two issues. The final plat is not the city saying, oh no, we're fine with this. But I just want you to understand, where some of this is coming from, because it's a lot of history here, and so I've again been disappointed with the follow through.
Well, I mean, again, and I would say that, that Brandon would say, we'd be the first one to say, some of the customers say, it's like he's been disappointed with the follow through, just like I've been disappointed with the follow through. It's like, you know what, but you stand up, and it was like, and he's got, a lot of the right people in place. He's going back to everybody who's closed and, in a certain period of time to make sure we've got all of our homeowners' issues resolved. I'll take the name of the person that
I
you're
would
talking
love to
about.
give that to you, and if you could help her, I would be delighted.
It was just like, just put it in the right hands, because it was just like,
Well,
I don't want any of our.
It's been with one of your managers, and I think one of your vice presidents has been out, and we're still not seeing anything happen. So we'll talk after about her. But I'm just saying, I've not seen, a lot of great response, and I'm disappointed in that. But I'm inclined to ask you to finish the 3 remaining issues and then come back to us. So.
Okay.
Okay, is there any more comments that way? And I'm gonna end with this one comment. This has to be a joint effort between the city and Elliott Homes, because I've been in construction my whole life, and as much leeway as we give a contractor, no offense, you're gonna take it. You're gonna take it. So our building department, they're over here, they're fabulous, but we have to watch all the trees aren't taken down. Where the trees flagged that were. We have to make sure, and I think Bo's doing the inspections now, right? And you're working closely, and you've got a good routine. We've got to work on that, because on a few of the first 10 homes, we were lagging on inspections, and you all were calling them in at the last minute. We had a lot of issues with that. So getting it where we're getting the inspections called in, you have time. All of this works toward the warranty items. It has to be a team of people working nonstop, jointly together, communicate with everyone, to make it work. It's not just one-sided. It's not just Elliott Homes. It's the city and Elliott Homes, and we have to hold hands to get through this. 46, by doing the right inspections, making sure everything's done, so that when you go to your warranty items, they should not be 5 pages. We should have caught some of it. So I'm just going to say it's a joint effort from all of us working on it and getting these done.
And I agree with the mayor absolutely about that. And it just reminded me of one more thing. It just again, the same house that I'm talking about, and I'll give you the info, and I hope you do go out there and look. So the requirement on this lady's lot was that Elliott had to leave 7 trees. So when her lot got cleared, and I can show you a picture of it, they cleared the entire thing except for the back corner and left 7 scraggly little sticks and counted those as her trees. And I'm seeing it seems to be a pattern of, okay, we're going to stay within the rules, but we're going to find the minimum and do the most that we can get away with, and still you'd be, okay, technically, yeah, you left 7 trees, but was that the right thing to do? It wasn't. So I'm seeing that kind of thing, and it's alarming. So again, I know you're new, sorry.
Well, I mean,
But
I mean,
I think you'd be, if you were in my seat, I think you'd be equally concerned, so.
Well, I mean, part of the reason I'm here is to take what's been in the past, make it better, and deliver,
Well-
more pleasurable results to
Right.
all people affected, you know, I mean, it was like,
But I just want you to understand where this distrust is
And
coming from.
we need to say.
I know y'all are attacking
Right.
me
No,
personally, you know,
no, we're not, and we need
No.
to say, those 7 trees are ugly. Bo, tell him, his trees are ugly. Say your trees are, we don't want those 7. These are the ones that we want left. But now it's all a blank canvas, so we won't be having that conversation. But on the landscaping, and one other thing, the entrance coming in, you know, we had talked about putting a culvert under that fence area. When is that gonna get done in the landscaping on the first phase? The culvert at the entrance coming in on the right. It's shown in the landscape plans. I'll send you the email I have on it. It still hadn't been done yet. Deer Cove, first phase.
So I'm one for a little bit of straight shooting, just so I
Okay.
know walking out of here. It doesn't sound like that this council is going to approve those plans being built back there at all. And I need to go back to my company and say, you know what, they're not gonna approve those plans if we don't come up with different product or even have the opportunity to even, you know, that, it's like, I don't see if we're gonna be able to build there, I don't think they're gonna let us build homes. Is that the impression that I should be coming out of here with?
I don't think that's the impression you should be coming out of here with, but the building department approved the plans. The council does not approve the floor plans. We do not have that authority. So you need to be working with the building department. Y'all need to be working closely together. You need to be calling in the inspections, not the day of closing, but way before you need them.
But-
And we need,
No, right. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
and so working together closely is what we need to do. And that'll improve the relationship on that.
And
Okay, now I'm gonna ask
Wait,
Ben.
wait, one more thing. But if you're asking though, are we happy? Would we be happy with this? No, I wouldn't, and I don't think the people who have been concerned would be happy with this. And again, she's right. We don't have
The
as a
authority.
council. But if you want to, increase, a good relationship with the community and make people happy, and no, we need some variation in these homes, and not just shutters, no shutters. There needs, and not, it's the same house. It's the same house.
I think hindsight's 20/20 on this is, instead of having 46 houses, maybe 30 or 35 would have been, like I said, looking back, 30, 35, it seemed like it would have given a little more space, a little different house look and stuff like that. Just in my opinion there anyway.
Now, if you want to work with the building department and change some of these plans, we're all about that. So,
I hear you. I don't know what options I'll have.
but I mean, I'm creative. I can sketch some stuff up. So
Well,
if you want to,
you have some lovely plans, other plans. Bring
do.
them.
I'm
You
with you.
don't have to go make new ones.
Yeah, it's just what
and
you know.
we thank Elliott Homes for investing in Diamond Head. We're not here being totally
It's all good.
okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank
take
you.
care.
So now I'm going to ask Ben Benvenuti, the city engineer, as the final comments to come up and see where we are on phase 1 and if we're ready to approve.
Mayor, Council, how are you?
Hey, man.
Wonderful. How are you?
Good. So, I guess I'll answer any questions you have.
So we have been working on this since May. We're in August. So we're down, we went from 9 items to 3 items. So our question to you is, these 3 items, do you feel are doable? And if they're not done, what do we have to hold on to make them get done, if we approve the plat tonight?
So if you approve it tonight conditionally, and I'm not an attorney, so Derek may have to correct me if I'm wrong, but conditionally, if you approve it with these 3 items, one is my letter. I'm not going to sign my letter until I receive the as-built survey, the updated as-built with the new changes. I expect to have that in the next couple days. if not tomorrow. And then the other item is the punch list. And Bo went out this afternoon and checked some of the stuff that was not complete yesterday, and the majority of it has been completed today. One of the biggest items is the as-built survey, just to confirm that that we can use to confirm what was proposed to be built was actually built. Outside of that, yes, I feel like they could get it completed this week. The amount of work they've done since, I guess, June 2nd was when we went out and gave them the list of 21 items that need to be corrected. They've completed all but 2. And so those I expect to be done this week.
Item number C, provide an ample swale easement between 20 and 21. Was that shown on the final plat that you received today?
The final plat has 15 feet.
Okay, so you,
And that's one reason we want the as-built survey. I think, measured top of bank today was 25 feet.
okay,
So
so we need to make it like 30.
We need to look at it and make sure we have enough space to get in there and maintain that swale.
Okay. Okay, that was a question I had. So, okay. Any questions to my left? Any questions to my right? So your recommendation on this, and I'm sorry, Councilman Cumberland, you had a question?
No, that is what I was going to ask. What is his recommendation that I guess I kind of want to know, why are we doing this, making a motion to approve it with contingencies, that rather than just waiting to the next meeting? Are we trying to get ahead of the game or something? I mean,
So it's my understanding that based on these contingencies, if they complete these 3 items, they could then receive final plat and start the application process for building permits. 2 weeks ago, if you would ask me that question, I would say no, because I did not feel like they would have been completed with the list of 21 items that we provided them, and so before the next council meeting. If you ask me today, will they be done with these 3 items before your next council meeting? Yes. I believe they will, based on what they've shown. But that only allows us to sign the final plat, and then allows them to start the process, correct me if I'm wrong, for pulling building permits.
So is there any detriment to Diamond Head for waiting until they're finished with all this to approve it?
Not that I'm aware of,
Okay,
no.
all right.
The only thing is it would potentially delay pulling permits.
But that doesn't hurt us. I mean, it's an inconvenience, or not good for them,
Yeah,
but it doesn't hurt us.
it doesn't have any detriment to the city. No.
That's what I wanted to know. Thank you.
So, can I just add something, Ben, because he pointed at me a few times, and I feel like I should speak whenever Ben points at me. The opposite is true, too. So if between now and the next council meeting, they have not done everything they're supposed to do, they do not get the final approval. So I just wanted to kind of make that clear. Nothing would absolve them of still doing everything that they have to do. I guess what Ben was trying to say is, the real question is, do they think they can get it done before our next council meeting? Previous 2 times it was on here, the answer was no.
Oh, no, I understand.
This time,
Yeah,
so I just
no,
wanted to make sure that
absolutely.
it
No,
would
I
still,
under-
everything still has to be
Yeah,
done.
I understand.
So we're not signing the plat until these things are done?
You are not authorizing
Okay,
anyone
I'm
to
in
sign
then.
the
I'm
plat
good, 'cause I signed the plat.
until
Okay.
everything's done.
And we'll get official letter saying you can now sign the plat?
But-
Okay.
But likewise, Derek, there's no harm in waiting.
And that's a decision for y'all, right?
Right.
Legally, they're not technically done right now. And so you guys, the way it typically works is you have a recommendation from your building official, and this is the way it's set forth in the ordinance. You get a recommendation from your building official, hey, everybody, they're finished, I'm ready to recommend. This is a little different, and I would recommend in the future, I mean, to clean this up and to clean up expectations, if I were, the one with the final approval, I'd say I'm not putting it on the agenda until it's ready. That way, we're not in this kind of predicament. But that's just me. That's something that I would recommend kind of in the future. I talked to Ron Jones about that today. But we're here legally. Either side is perfectly defensible. Either side is perfectly legal. It doesn't mean you have to vote one way or the other.
Got it.
I feel better knowing that the plat's not gonna be signed, because I sign it on approving it tonight. So if they're done by Friday or Monday, we can sign it and they can get busy.
Mr. Jones, did you put this on the agenda?
Yes.
Okay.
Can I ask legal, is this setting a precedent if we accept something before it's complete?
No, because again, you're doing it conditionally. You're not, tomorrow.
Have
you're
we
not-
done anything conditionally in the past?
I believe that we have in the past. We've had conditional approvals of several permits in the past.
But typically, do we wait till people are finished?
I'd say there's no typical, I've seen it done both ways in my
Mhm.
time here, where we've done some condition, and again, it's an accommodation, because you only meet twice a month. Does the builder think they can get it done before that next meeting or not? That's kind of been some of the factors that have weighed in, but there's a bunch of other factors that you all very well identified tonight that you can each hang your hat on as you make your vote as to whether or not you want to let them go forward or not.
And none of this is construction work. That's something else we have to look at. This is all paperwork. True? It's paperwork. So we gotta get out there and decide, so we can't sign the plat until we know the easement between 20 and 21 is shown right on the plat, because we need to make sure if 15's not good, 20's good. You need to write a letter, but you're not doing that till she sends you the plans. And the final inspection Bo did, they did everything but two things.
Right, which one is asphalt where they installed the 2 drainage pipes.
Okay? So that is a little bit of construction, okay?
I just want to see if I could add something to does it cause a detriment to the city or anything to that nature? In the sense of doing a plat and filing this paperwork, no. But there is word that they are concerned they may potentially sell to D.R. Horton if this doesn't pass.
Okay,
moving. So that is a personal thought.
It's kind of a threat, so, but not by you, from them. I mean, I'm hearing that, so I'm not, yeah.
So another developer can do exactly what we're doing right now, present the exact same plans to you today, and there's nothing to stop them from doing the exact same thing we're doing today. So I just want to let that be known, and I just want to make sure you understand what is all on the table for today. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kara. Okay, is all our questions answered about phase one?
One more.
One more.
Mr. Benvenuti, you're recommending that we move forward? We feel good. I mean, Mr. Jones, do you feel the same way? You put it on the agenda. So do you feel like we're at the place where it's time to move forward? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Okay, I hate to say this, but it's 8 o'clock and now we're starting the meeting.
Thank you.
Coffee will be served at 9. Okay, moving right along with,
That was public comments, huh?
we do have one non-agenda, but that's okay. Mr. Jarrell's gonna have to wait. Okay, so we're gonna move on to our tabled items. Could I get a motion to remove off the table item 2022-231?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Mark. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilwoman Lisi. All in favor?
Aye.
Could I get a motion to accept the award for the low bid received from Moran Holland in the amount of $171,479.06 for Hilo Way drainage improvements, authorized by city manager to execute the contract for the same and issue the notice to proceed?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Marr. Can I get a second? Second made by Councilman Clark. All in favor? Aye. Any nays? Could I get a motion to remove from the table 2022-246?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Finley. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Marr. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Could I get a motion to approve? Could I get a motion to approve change order number 3 to East Aloha Improvements Phase 1, adding 15 calendar days for project completion with no change to project cost?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Mark. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Clark. All in favor? Aye. Any nays? Could I get a motion to remove from table 2022-261?
Move.
Could I get a second? Motion dies from lack of action. Resolution 2022, Councilman Finley? I added that motion to 17A. To approve the plat. Okay. Resolution 2022, motion to adopt Resolution 2022-054, thereby acquiring a donation for greenage and grease space from Joseph B. and Mary G. Margravo, Lot 1, Block 4, Unit 7, with an estimated value of $8,437.50. Could I get a motion? Motion made by Councilman Clark. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Marr. Any discussion to my left? Any discussion to my right? City Clerk.
Finley,
Yes.
Lisi.
Yes.
Cumberland,
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Marr.
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. Public hearing. We're now entering into a public hearing for 2022-280, motion to adopt Resolution 2022-055 to adjudicate that the property and abandoned vehicle located at 10578 Lanoux Place, parcel number 0678-125.238.000 is in a state of uncleanliness and a menace to the public health, safety, and welfare of our community. Authorization to advertise for bids and to obtain quotes to perform the necessary services to cut, destroy the weeds growing, remove all limbs, trash, and debris, and if any, to a proper disposal site, and remove the unlicensed vehicle from the property, and assess the cost to said property and for all related purposes. Property owner Dudley F. Billings. Is Dudley F. Billings here? First call for Dudley F. Billings. Second call, Mr. Dudley F. Billings. Third call for Mr. Dudley F. Billings. With no representation of Mr. Dudley F. Billings, could I please ask for a motion for public hearing item 2022-280? Motion made by Councilman Finley. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Marr. Any discussion to my left? Any discussion to my right? City Clerk.
Finley,
Yes.
Lisi.
Yes.
Cumberland.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Marr.
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. Public hearing. We're now entering into another public hearing. 2022-281, motion to adopt Resolution 2022-056 to adjudicate the property located at 1060 Lanoux Way, parcel number 131C-1-13-174.000 is in a state of uncleanliness or a menace to public health, safety, and the general welfare of the community. Authorization to advertise for bids and to obtain quotes to perform the necessary services to cut the grass, remove all weeds from the property, and other related purposes. Property owner is Paul Clark. First call for Paul Clark. Clack, excuse me. Chuck, sorry, that was not you. Your property looks fabulous.
Cleaned it up.
Second call for Paul Clack. Third call for Mr. Paul Clack. With no representation of Mr. Paul Clack, I'm going to ask for a motion, 2022-201.
So moved.
Motion made by Councilwoman Lisi. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Clark. Any discussion to my right? Any discussion to my left? My other right? It's after 8 o'clock. Sorry, y'all. I just have one thing to say. I see Ty sitting in here, and Ty, you are doing an outstanding job. Thank you very much. And I love the compliance report that was in the packet this time.
Yes.
Followed through nicely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the good work.
Thank you, Ty.
Thank you. City Clerk.
Finley,
Yes.
Lisi.
Yes.
Cumberland.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Marr.
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. 2022-282, motion to adopt Resolution 2022-057, thereby appointing Scott Brewer, Ward 4, formerly Todd Torgerson, Ward 4, to serve as the Planning Commissioner, effective immediately and expiring in March of 2025. Could I get a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Clark.
Second.
Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilwoman Lisi. Any discussion to my left?
And the man is here.
Would you like to stand up and say hello? Not putting you on the spot, but we're all staring at you. Hello and welcome to the P&Z. Any discussion to my right? City Clerk.
Finley,
Yes.
Lisi.
Yes.
Cumberland.
Yes.
Clark.
Yes.
Marr.
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes. I'm going to move to table Item 2022-265, that's number 9 on the action agenda item. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilwoman Lisi. All in favor? Aye. Can I ask for a motion to approve items 10, 11, 13, 14, and 16 on the consent agenda? Motion made by Councilman Clark. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Marr. All in favor? Aye. Could I get a motion to approve pay application number 4 in the amount of $111,606.15 to Marr and Hauling for the East Aloha Improvement Project?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Cumberland. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Clark. Any discussion to my left? Any discussion to my right?
Yes. The reason I moved this to the action agenda is the thing that you and I talked about, but I think Jason straightened that out. I appreciate it, so that's the reason I did it.
You're good now, Councilman
I'm good.
Cumberland? You got your answer? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion 2022-283, motion to accept substantial completion of East Aloha Improvements Phase 1 effective August 5th, 2022. Could I get a motion?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Clark. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Finley. Any discussion to my left? Any discussion to my right? All in favor? Aye. Any nays? 2022-285, motion to approve master service work agreement with Machado Botana for the development of plan spec review as needed in an amount not to exceed $10,000, and we hope it's less than $1,000. Could I get a motion? Motion made by Councilman Clark. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Cumberland. Any discussion to my left? Any discussion to my right?
Who are we going to use for reviewing plans and specs? Do we have any one individual that we use? I know we discussed maybe using our in-house engineer.
No, we have actually 2 engineering companies that both provide this service for us, Digital and Machado, as a outside source to review the plans that are submitted to us.
And we don't use the city engineer because he's reviewing the projects as they're going on.
That's
That
correct.
would be a conflict
Okay.
if he reviewed the plans and then reviewed the progress.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We added action agenda item 17A. Could I get a motion to adopt the final plat Diamond Head Lakes Phase 1, subject to, number 1, submission of a letter from Ben Benvenuti, city engineer, regarding the construction of the subdivision in accordance with approved plans. Number 2, approval of the final inspection of the improvements of the subdivision. And number 3, provide ample swale easement between lots 20 and 21. All conditions must be to the satisfaction of the city before any building permits shall be issued. Could I get a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilman Marr. Could I get a second?
Second.
Okay, we got some. Councilman Finley. Any discussion to my left? Any discussion to my right? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any nays?
Nay.
Nay.
2 nays. Motion passes. Could I get a okay. I'm sorry, I'm back. Could I get a motion to approve the docket of claims DKT 1599-09, DKT 159938 in the amount of $255,059.85? Motion made by Councilman Clark. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Finley. All in favor? Aye. Could I get a motion to approve payroll payables DKT 159865, DKT 159877, the amount of $46,594.39. PR claim 132 in the amount of $28,010.88. PR claim 133 in the amount of $2,531.91. PR claim 131 in the amount of $29,711.86.
I move.
Motion made by Councilman Clark. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Finley. All in favor?
Aye.
Could I get a motion to approve department reports, all listed under A?
Move.
Motion made by Councilman Finley. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilwoman Lisi. All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Durrell, your time has come. And did he leave? Oh, well, we'll
Hurry,
give him
adjourn,
1
adjourn.
second. Is there any need for, bless his heart, we sat here for 3 hours and. Thank you, Captain Luther. Any no need for executive session?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And we're just gonna give it a minute.
Statute of limitations may have run out on this care after that meeting.
Pass this down.
You're up.
We're all here waiting to hear what you have to say about drainage.
So, I want to know what's going to be done about the drainage in my house.
That we would need the city engineer. Did you give a report yet to the city? Thank you, Ben. Then you have passed the buck to the city manager.
That has been given to the Public Works Department. They are working on getting that taken care of, yes.
When?
That I cannot say. That
Maybe
it's in the
meet with-
queue of everything else, so they're working on it.
Maybe get with Ty after this and have a discussion. Sorry you waited all this time.
You know, I
Mhm.
hear these people bitching and bitching and bitching about the subdivision behind their house and the one that's going up Elliott Homes and everything. This house right here should have never been built on that property to start off with. Never been built. We had no drainage problem before. And all of a sudden, the house is built, and the water's coming over on my side. If I wouldn't have the swell cut in my yard, that thing would flood my garage. It should have never been built. Do you agree?
I agree we got drainage issues, and I have been with you. I have seen it. I have witnessed it. When it rains, I sit out there with an umbrella, and we need to get it fixed. So, Ty, we need to get it fixed, and I see him talking, we need to get it fixed. Okay. And get with him, and let's get a date so we can get it fixed. Because
So
you're here
if it-
every meeting asking.
Keep
Mhm.
asking and keep asking
And
and
do
keep asking
that.
for something done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Durrell. Is there any other action that needs to be addressed before the city council? With that being said, could I get a motion to adjourn?
I will move.
Motion made by Councilman Clark. Could I get a second?
Second.
Second made by Councilman Cumberland. All in favor?
Aye.
You all have a blessed night, and thank you.
Thank you.